Welcome to English Through History. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe or leave us a review. It helps us to create more content and is appreciated by our small team here. The division of North and South Korea is a complex and multifaceted historical issue that has its roots in geopolitics, ideology, and the aftermath of World War II. In today's episode, we'll be exploring how this country became divided and why both countries exist in a state of war today, one of the longest wars in history. The Korean Peninsula has a long history of political and cultural divisions, but the modern division between North and South Korea began after the end of World War II and has its origins in several key events. Before World War II, Korea was a unified country under the Joseon dynasty until it was annexed by Imperial Japan in 1910. During the Japanese occupation, Koreans were subjected to harsh policies, forced labor, and cultural suppression. The occupation has significant impact on both countries even today. Issues of forced labor, sexual exploitation of Korean women, an issue known as comfort women, and the dismantling of Korean education and the suppression of Korean culture still resonates today. The Korean people's resistance against Japanese rule played a significant role in shaping a strong national identity for both nations and fostering a desire for independence. As World War II came to a close, Japan's surrender in 1945 marked the end of its imperial rule over Korea. The Korean Peninsula was liberated, and the Korean people aspired to rebuild their nation as a unified, independent state. However, the post-war period brought about a new challenge, the division of Korea into two separate states, North Korea and South Korea, which laid the groundwork for the ongoing division that persists to this day. Why was Korea divided in the first place? Well, this is due to both geopolitics and practicality. Korea's location in East Asia was strategically very important to both the Soviet Union and the USA. Geographically, North Korea borders the Soviet Union, and South Korea was close to the newly conquered Japan, a country the USA wanted to rebuild as a democratic and capitalist nation after World War II. The USA did not want the spread of Soviet ideology to take over East Asia, and therefore created a boundary. It should be noted that no Korean advisors on either side were consulted. The Korean Peninsula could accurately be described as an unfortunate victim of geopolitics from two powerful post-war countries. At the Yalta Conference in February 1945, the Allies agreed to divide Korea along the 38th parallel, with the Soviet Union responsible for the northern part and the United States the southern part. The division was intended to be temporary and aimed to facilitate the repatriation of Japanese forces and establish a post-world order. However, due to the two very differing emerging ideologies between the Soviet Union and the USA, the division lasts to this day. The strict division of Korea along the 38th parallel led to contrasting ideologies and political systems in the North and the South. The Soviet Union established a communist regime in North Korea under Kim Il-sung, while the United States supported a democratic government in the South led by Syngman Rhee. These ideological differences soon deepened, and efforts to reunify the country proved challenging. In 1950, tensions between the two Koreas escalated into the Korean War when North Korean forces, supported by the Soviet Union and China, invaded South Korea. The war resulted in significant devastation and loss of life on both sides. With both sides worn out by the intense fighting, the fighting was ended in 1953 with an armistice agreement rather than a peace treaty, leaving the two countries technically still at war but are both allowed to save face. The borders went back to the pre-Korean War status along the 38th parallel. As part of the Korean Armistice Agreement, there was created a buffer zone known as the Demilitarized Zone, the DMZ, which separates North and South Korea. Despite the name, the DMZ is a heavily fortified area that stretches across the 38th parallel and serves as a symbolic and physical reminder of the ongoing division. It is an area of great natural beauty, untouched by man due to the conflict. It stretches from the east coast to the west coast of the peninsula and is unique around the world. It is possible to visit the DMZ as a tourist with careful guidance from South Korean and US forces. Over the years, there has been several incidents, defections, and skirmishes, but it is generally safe to visit. In the decades following the Korean War, both North and South Korea pursued different paths of economic and political development. South Korea experienced rapid economic growth and democratization, becoming one of the Asian tigers. In contrast, North Korea adopted a centrally planned economy and remained under the rule of the Kim family, resulting in political isolation and economic stagnation. The Cold War further complicated the divisions of Korea, as both the Soviet Union and China supported North Korea, while the United States and its allies backed South Korea. This geopolitical rivalry contributed to the perpetuation of the division. Throughout the years, attempts at reunification have been hindered by mistrust, ideological differences, and a lack of effective communication between the two governments. The two Koreas have engaged in sporadic talks and summits, but significant obstacles remain in achieving a lasting resolution. So in conclusion, the division of North and South Korea is a result of a combination of historical, geopolitical, and ideological factors. The legacy of Japanese occupation, the Cold War dynamics, and the Korean War all played a crucial role in shaping the present-day division. The situation remains a delicate and complex issue, and efforts towards reconciliation and reunification continue to be of global interest.